And it looks like we do have that interview now queued up from Texas Education Commissioner Mike Morath finishing his conversation with Lacey Beasley. I want to play that interview for you in its entirety. Take a listen.
Issued a letter to the Fort Worth Independent School District announcing my intention to install a board of managers to oversee the school system. So the board of managers will be a group of people that we select from Fort Worth ISD's geographic boundaries. Think parents, community members, professionals that have a broad array of backgrounds and experiences, but that are united in their belief that if we, the adults that are in charge of the school system, provide appropriate supports, that all children can learn and achieve at high levels. This action is necessitated by really chronic levels of academic underperformance in Fort Worth ISD. You have, even though there has been some improvement in Fort Worth in recent years, we actually have seen an increase in the number of multiple year academically unacceptable campuses, up to 20 campuses now in Fort Worth that have been academically unacceptable for multiple years. To put this in perspective, a campus is academically unacceptable when fewer than a third of their students are on grade level and fewer than half of their students gained a year academically in a year's time. So both of those have to be true. Less than half of students growing academically, less than a third of students on grade level. That's what constitutes unacceptable levels of performance. And we have many campuses in Fort Worth that are performing at that level, but fully 20 that have been at that level for many years, including some that's 4 or 5 plus years. The changes that are being announced don't actually take effect today. So what we've announced is our intention to place a board of managers. Our website today has been updated to allow individuals of character and talent in Fort Worth who wish to serve on that board to apply. And so we'll be holding some community meetings in Fort Worth in November and December to keep people informed. But for parents today, I know that many of them may be nervous about this, but today nothing is changing. Today we've announced our intention to do, so we're going to be very methodical and attempt to communicate throughout this process. For district staff today, the elected Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Molinar, they are at the helm of this district. And so for staff of Fort Worth, keep doing what you do every day, which is come, work hard, love on kids, and get them to learn. But our goal with this intervention is that the district central office, that its ability to support the campuses significantly improves so that we can offer to the students who attend those schools every day a significantly higher level of quality in terms of academic and broader supports for them so that they can learn and grow and become the best versions of themselves.
For this board of managers, you said it's like an application process. They apply on your website?
Yes, ma'am.
And who can apply? Who's eligible to apply?
If you live within the Fort Worth ISD boundaries, we would love for you to apply. Obviously, we're looking for people that start with a belief system that all children can learn and achieve at high levels, but also understand what it means to govern a very large organization, roughly $1 billion per year apparatus, thousands of employees, and that have a broad range of lived experiences so that they can come together with that differences of background, but united in their purpose in supporting improvements in learning for kids.
And who selects the board members?
Under state law, I do. The Commissioner of Education will name the Board of Managers, and the Commissioner of Education also names the superintendent. So we're also beginning now a nationwide search to name that superintendent. We'll have people from within the state and out of the state. I think importantly, I've been impressed with the bold actions of the superintendent over the last several months. She's very new on the job, and so she has certainly earned a spot to get interviewed and be considered for the role. We've not made any decisions as to who the superintendent will be. We will conduct a very thorough search and evaluation of the superintendent and make that announcement sometime in the spring at roughly the same time that the Board of Managers takes effect.
So is Dr. Molinar out?
No, so Dr. Molinar is still very much the superintendent, and we will be interviewing Dr. Molinar for consideration for the long-term superintendent under the Board of Managers as well.
So she'll need to reapply?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how many board members or positions are open?
So our goal is to roughly match the same structure that is there now. So you have 9 elected Board of Trustee members, so we'll probably have roughly 9 members of the Board of Managers team.
And you said changes don't go into effect today. You said the springtime. Do you have
That's right. This sets up a very methodical process. We want to move with all deliberate speed with our kids, which means not wasting time, but also being very thoughtful in the process. And so the process will involve multiple rounds of interviews of these candidates for Board of Managers. We want to train them, prepare them for the role. So I think we're several months out from any actual substantive change in leadership in the district.
And this Board of Managers, they're here for the next 2 years? Is it like 2-year increments?
Yeah, it's a great question. So when we think about why we're doing this in the first place, we're doing this in the first place because of very low levels of academic support and performance of students. And so we want to see that performance improve. But most importantly, we're doing this because you have had in Fort Worth several campuses that have been chronically failing students. And so what we are going to be very interested in is ensuring that the way the district is organized and how it supports its campus leaders and how it supports its teachers with curriculum, master schedules, and everything, that we do not see any more multi-year academically unacceptable campuses. And so our goal is to get in and get out as quickly as possible, but we want that mission to be accomplished. We want the district to have changed for the better for kids so that there is no more multi-year academically unacceptable campuses. It could be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but the goal is to make that change and make it happen as quickly as possible, make the change so it leads to lasting gains for students. And when we reach that milestone, then we will start the process of reverting back to the elected Board of Trustees assuming control of the district.
I know you visited the district earlier at the beginning of this school year. Was there a defining factor for you in coming to this decision of we need to take the district over? Was there something you saw? I'm sure there were red flags. Was there a defining moment here?
Yeah, there is a set of indicators that we focus on very with sort of laser-like precision. Some of these are quantitative and some of these are qualitative. But what we need to be true in our schools and in our classrooms is they have to be environments where there is love and that there is discipline. That is a necessity. But if that was all that was happening in school, I'm not just Commissioner of Education, I'm a dad. I can keep my kids at home and make sure that they're loved. We send kids to school to make sure that they are learning, reading, writing, math, science, and social studies, that they are being challenged, that they are growing academically. And that requires rigorous content, engaging in literature and mathematics and history and science, and engaging in deep ways, very effectively delivered in classrooms with support systems for the teachers, because teaching is very, very difficult. And so you want to have a process that allows the teachers to get better and better and to reflect on their craft. And so as we were there, that's what we were looking for, is how strong are those systems to support teachers. It is clear that the district needs to improve those systems to improve our teachers, and that is our goal during the course of the intervention.
All right. That's time, Lacey. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, ma'am.
And that was the conversation Lacey Beasley just had with Education Commissioner Mike Morath. Again, you just heard that Fort Worth ISD is being taken over by the state. Lacey, we just heard your conversation in full, but there's a few different points that kind of stood out to me. Let's start with the fact that he said that there were, quote, chronic levels of underperformance. I know you've reported on Fort Worth ISD for many months now. What are the things that he is specifically looking at underperformance-wise that he is hoping to improve on with the state takeover?
Hey, Madison, that is a really striking point that Commissioner Morath brought up, and that's the fact that, yes, Fort Worth ISD has made strides in the past couple months, but he's also said that they are lacking in many different academic areas. Just for note, in that interview, we just finished it 10 minutes ago, hopped out here, set up for this live shot. He said that fewer than a third of their students who are on grade level, that classifies failing, when fewer than a third of those students are at grade level. And he said 20 campuses have been at that at that bar for years now. That draws a red flag for him. Now, also, this takeover is as a result of the 2023 A through F ratings that were actually released earlier this year. And the reason there was a delay in those ratings is because of a pending lawsuit that had the TEA withhold those ratings for a few years. So keep in mind, this rating is from 2023, which actually was 2 years ago. Those ratings were just released earlier this year. The campus that's in question that triggered this state law to allow the TEA to intervene is the Leadership Academy at Forest Oak 6th grade. That campus has since closed. However, the TEA has said even though the campus is closed, that does not stop them from intervening. That specific campus rated F for 5 consecutive years. That 2023 rating of an F is what's triggering this state law, allowing the TEA to intervene. You also heard Commissioner Morath talk about this board of managers. What does that mean? So a board of managers would replace the elected school board within Fort Worth ISD. And that's where there's a lot of, mixed emotions about this. The Texas Education Agency coming in and replacing an elected school board. That board of managers will then be in control of district operations, not the TEA. And that's a big distinction that the TEA has communicated with me for me to communicate with you guys. The TEA is not taking over the district. They are appointing a board of managers that will take over district operations. Now, Commissioner Morath, he talked about that application process, which that's new information to me too, me learning this as I go. The application process for the district of managers, you can go on the TEA's website, and Commissioner Morath said it was updated this morning, and you can apply if you believe you're qualified to take on, as he said, a multi-million-dollar district. I mean, this is similar to running kind of like a little city. Fort Worth ISD is massive with over 70,000 students. So he said if you're local to Fort Worth, they want to appoint local people, and if you have some sort of education background. Now, Commissioner Morath didn't go into specific qualifications. I would assume if you have years in the education system, that would help you in this application process. Also, Commissioner Morath said that these changes don't happen immediately. It doesn't start today. This is a process that he says will last through the end of the school year into the spring, where they will be reviewing applications for this board of managers. And as you heard him say, he is the one who selects them. Right now, the Fort Worth ISD school board, I believe, has 13 members right now, and he kind of wants to match that. He said to me in the interview that they are going to appoint about 9 board members, this board of managers, to replace this elected school board. You also heard him talk about Dr. Karen Molinar. That's been a big question mark. Will she stay? Will she go? Commissioner Morath says she's not immediately out. She's not out. As of right now, if she wants to stay within Fort Worth ISD, she has to reapply and re-interview, and Morath will then select from there. You also heard him say there's a nationwide search for a superintendent, so it's not guaranteed that Dr. Molinar would be selected in the spring, but if she does want to stay, she has to go through the interview process, the application process, just like any other candidate, Madison.
I mean, Lacey, one of the things we're hearing is that this process is going to take time. Those interviews for the board of managers are going to take time. The interviews for the potential superintendent will take time. But their hope is that they're going to end the campuses that have had multiple years of underperformance and unacceptable ratings. We heard him talk about the district central office needing to better support students. When it comes to these board of managers, I mean, that's really going to be their goal, is to figure out ways to reinvent the education system that is Fort Worth ISD to better make these children able to learn at grade level and move on to future grades.
Yeah, that's right, Madison. I think it's safe to say any campus that's rated F does not look good. I mean, any parent who's looking at those ratings, an F rating, a D rating, even a C rating, that doesn't look the best. That's not the best reflection, and I'm sure parents are wary when they see ratings like that. That's exactly why the TEA is making this decision to step in now and get a head start on these failing campuses, turn them around, boost their letter grades, and also prevent this from happening to future campuses. even on the topic of parents, I've already been in touch with a lot of parents within Fort Worth from last night into this morning, and a lot of them were trying to avoid this takeover. There is a family parent group that has been created. It's called Fort Worth FORT, and that stands for Families Organized Resisting Takeover. I've talked to multiple parents within this organization. They're kind of a grassroots organization that was created to stop the takeover. They are disappointed with this outcome. I think it's a daunting outcome that a elected school board will be replaced with a board of managers. However, they also say that they want the best for their students. And right now with the TEA making this decision to, I don't want to say usurp power, but they are replacing this elected school board with the board of managers in an effort to boost those F ratings, boost those D ratings, turn these campuses around, get students reading at grade level, get students writing at grade level. That's been a big topic I've been following for months now, as the literacy rates within Fort Worth ISD are really, really low. I'm talking about 20 to 30% of students are reading at grade level out of a whole district, once again, like I said, that has 70,000 students. So the effort behind this is to turn the ship around and give Fort Worth ISD at grade level, improve these rated districts, and also just improve overall student outcome. Now, another thing that I want to bring up too is I think the comparative measure we have right now is Houston ISD. Now, Houston ISD was taken over by the TEA a few years ago, and there have been mixed reactions from parents over that. A lot of parents that I've talked to believe that a state takeover like this puts a lot of attention on STAR test scores, and that's raised mixed emotions. You know, the STAR test scores are the reflection of how campuses are performing, how individual students are performing, how districts are performing. However, parents that I've talked to say that there's other areas that show how students are performing. That comes down to other extracurriculars. I've talked to parents who have students in orchestra and band and these arts classes, photography, and they are excelling in areas like that. However, the STAR test does not test on subjects like that. The STAR test are your core subjects, and that is the reflection of the A, B, C, D, F ratings that we are seeing. So with the TEA taking over in Houston, there's been mixed reactions from parents on there's too much of a focus on a STAR test, not enough of a focus on these extracurriculars and these arts that are also vitally important to student outcome. So I'm definitely in the next couple weeks, starting now actually, I will be looking into how this has been playing out within Houston ISD, talking to parents within there, talking to educators, how this takeover is doing, because, right now Fort Worth ISD, with them being taken over, I don't exactly know how this will shake out. I'm learning this as I go too. I will be making the calls and reaching out to my contacts and my sources to see how this will shake out. But once again, Madison, like you said, this will take a while. To appoint a board of managers, that comes in the spring, and we're still talking months from now. A new superintendent could come in the spring. So this is months of a timeline that we're looking at how this will shake out. Possibly by next school year, we'll have a better idea. But for right now, like you heard Commissioner Morath say, he says Fort Worth ISD operates as is right now. Staff, you operate as is. The elected school board, you operate as is, as this process is going about. So this board of managers timeline, spring, new superintendent possibly in the spring. Until then, in the meantime, Fort Worth ISD stays as is.
Lacey, I also want to point out right now you are standing in front of Fort Worth City Hall because any moment now we are awaiting comment from Fort Worth Mayor Maddie Parker. Of course, Fort Worth ISD, one of the largest school districts in her district that she represents. So we are going to be awaiting the reaction from her this morning to this news that you just, again, had that conversation with Education Commissioner Mike Morath. Lacey, thank you for the context.